Hi all, well Steve, Punch Out TV. How are you all doing on this Friday evening? Hope you're all well out there. I really do. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Santa brought you what you wanted, and you had plenty of drink and plenty of food and plenty of good laughs, because that's what Christmas is all about. But I'm here to talk quickly about to do this video about since Oleksandr Usyk beat Tyson Fury, are we as boxing fans giving Oleksandr Usyk too much props for what he's done? And the reason why I'm making this, it's not a bash video at Usyk, because I absolutely think the world of him. He's a great fighter. He's a legend. He's the best, like I say, since Lennox Lewis retired for me. He's an absolute legend. But I've been seeing just lately a hell of a lot of posts, and I'm going to put this post up on the video on Facebook and different web pages and YouTube channels, saying that he is possibly the greatest heavyweight of all time. Now, I was asked this on my live stream the other day, where do I rank him? And I said, someone asked me, where do I rank him in the top 15 of all time? And I said, for me, it's hard to rank him in the top 15 of all time, because obviously I haven't been around as long as boxing. So I could only go from where I've been watching boxing, which was around about 85. So for me, I would put him in the top 15 from 85 onwards. But as before, like Marciano, Max Schmeling, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, Jack Dempsey and fighters like that, for me, if it makes sense, I can't put him in there, because like I say, I wasn't around. But I've been seeing a lot of people putting posts up and channels saying he's the best fighter of all time. Now for me, it's a conversation what you could go round in circles, really. Now this is just how I look at it. This doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my opinion of how I look at Oleksandr Usyk. For me, I consider him a great, of course I do. He's the best of this era since Lennox Lewis, I would say, retired. But then, if you flip the coin, there's so many different ways of looking at it. There's so many different angles of looking at it. Some people are now throwing Tyson Fury under the bus, saying he was a hype job. He was hyped up to being not the best of our era. But yet, before that, people were saying he was. It was like before Fury beat Wilder, everyone was saying Wilder was a bum, and then when Fury beat him, Deontay Wilder was the second best heavyweight fighter around. So it's very hard to look at it. Now this post, like I say, I'll put up, it's a post to come across on a Facebook channel, and it was Oleksandr Usyk and Muhammad Ali. I forgot to mention Ali actually before, but it states Oleksandr Usyk never been dropped, never been stopped, undefeated in two divisions, and world champion. And it's got Ali dropped several times, stopped once, 5 losses, 1 division, world champion. Now I think for me, the guy who wrote that's an absolute bell end, because you can't compare Oleksandr Usyk to Muhammad Ali, because they were 2 different eras, and Ali fought fucking everybody. He fought way more fighters than what Oleksandr Usyk did. So for me, the guy who even put that together is an absolute bell end. That's just stupidity to me. That's just a casual. That's someone who doesn't look at boxing in the right way. Now, this is again, like I say, how could you put Oleksandr Usyk in the days of Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali, you know, George Foreman, Smoking Joe Fraser, Larry Holmes, Ernie Shavers, um, Floyd Patterson, and people like that. I, Kenny Norton and all people like that. For me, that was a hell of a lot of better era than what this is. That's why I say it's very hard to look at it, and there's so many different ways to look at it. Now, if you fast forward to like the mid-90s, the early 90s, late 80s, I would say he stood a chance, definitely. I'm not saying he would have been a world champion, but I think he very well could have been. I don't know, but I think he'd have survived. He'd have been a better boxer in the late 80s and the mid 90s. I do think he would have held his own with some of the fighters, as he proves he can beat people bigger than him. But then again, you flip the coin again. The fighters in the 90s and the late 80s were a hell of a lot better than what the fighters are of today. So, are these people giving Oleksandr Usyk? I always call him Alexander because on his Twitter, he's Alexander, but his real name's Alexander. But are people now giving him too much props to say he's the greatest of all time? I think they are, being realistically. This is just my opinion. I think they are, because for me, he's a superb fighter in a piss poor era, or should I say a very good fighter in a piss poor era. Because, like I say, then you can flip it back to Tyson Fury. People are now tearing his resume apart because they're saying his best 2 wins are Klitschko, who he hugged the shit out of, and Deontay Wilder, who he went life and death with. But yet again, before they fought Wilder was a bum, So I was hearing someone picking his resume apart the other day, saying that he was Fury beat. So then you could say, well, if that's the case, do you know what I mean? Was Fury ever a good fighter? So I don't know how you look at it, or how you out there look at it. But for me, how I look at it, I think he's a good fighter or a great fighter in a very poor era. But I do believe he still would have been possibly a world champion in the 90s. But I do think he could have lost as well, because the fighters were just so much better. He would have beaten some of them, I've seen people comparing him to Holyfield, obviously because of he's done exactly what Holyfield did. Undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight. But then again, they were all fighting a lot more, all of them. I mean, Holyfield fought everybody, absolutely everybody. For me, personally, to state him as an all-time great, he's definitely an Hall of Famer, because he's cleaned house, hasn't he? But there's still fights out there for me where I think to get that final cherry on top and call him the best of our era, really, if I really think about it, should I say, then he has to fight Parker. He has to fight Caballero, and he has to fight Zango Bacoli. Don't get me wrong, he's got nothing left to prove because he's cleaned house. But me personally, to cement him as an all-time great, like I mean an all-time great, the man who did beat everyone, he needs to fight Parker, he needs to fight Bacoli or Zangan, and he needs to fight Caballero. Then I can personally say, yeah, I definitely go down as the greatest. He did everything. So I don't know. I'd like your feedback off it, because there's so many different ways of looking at this. You know, like I say, people are now picking Fury apart, saying he's an hype job. People saying AJ's a big stiff, he was a hype job, but he beat two former world champions who won the world champion twice. So, you know, I don't know. Don't know how you look at it. Let me know what you think. But me personally, I think the guy who wrote that post, put that post together, he's a bell end. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I'm just waffling on now, but it's interesting. I'd like your feedback on it. Let me know what you think. If we are giving him too much praise, or you know, when it comes to comparing him to the likes of Ali, Foreman, Liston, you know, the Floyd Patterson, the list goes on, Marciano, and all the greats before, Joe Louis, and all them, you know. So, anyway, enjoy the rest of your Christmas, and I'll see you before the new year. I appreciate all your support, I really do, mate. If it wasn't for you lot, I wouldn't be here. And all the new subscribers I've had. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas. Peace out, and I'll catch you very soon.